Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back for another video. Instead of smashing up the like button and leaving a comment in the comment section and subscribing to the channel, could you do me a favor if you haven't already and head on over to my X account, WW Bitcoin, and you can see the backup plan for after my TikTok got banned because somebody wanted money from me and lots of other people whose accounts got banned as well. And well, whatever, not happening. So hit the follow on all these accounts. Thank you in advance. Would greatly appreciate it. But let's go ahead and dive on in. Hey, why don't you smash up that like button? So Zhao Wetson, one of my favorite, man, 6,000 followers on his account. This is absurd. The alpha that this guy presents is just unmatched. And I actually have two posts from him. The first one is just looking at the aggregated liquidation level heat map. When you see any kind of darkness, any kind of, well, I should say brightness on this chart, that is something you should pay attention to, that if we break through those levels, then we're going to break through them hard. But Zhao Wetson says Bitcoin is about to liquidate the bears above 107 soon, and the 114K plan might be getting closer. There's a high likelihood of liquidations, and that could reignite the market. I am here for that. Bitcoin, as of the moment I'm making this video, is above $108,000, and it's looking bullish. What about your altcoins? Well, we'll have to take a look at that in a little bit. Honestly, guys, we might have to wait a little bit. I'm sorry, we still might have to wait a little bit. You know, it would be great. You know, best case scenario, let's have a big explosive blow off top for Bitcoin for this year or whenever, even if we go to 2026, and then we'll see some altcoin movements. It was never a guarantee. I warned you guys about being too excited about altcoins, but there is still hope. Bitcoin, though, Bitcoin is looking good. We can see the rest of us here just heavy shorting above some key target levels here. That is a good sign because, you know, people who trade with leverage, they're usually wrong. They're always wrong, actually. Let's see what else from Zhao Wetson here. So coin days destroyed, terminal adjusted, and you can see a lot during really exciting times in the market, a lot of coin days destroyed. And you can see when was the peak of euphoria in 2021. I tell you guys all the time, the peak of euphoria was in the early part of 2021, not that second peak of $69,000. So again, Zhao Wetson, long-term holders are starting to move their coins on the blockchain again, but Bitcoin is still trading above the main on-chain cost models. In 2017 and 2021, for example, it remained stubborn and kept climbing before hitting market euphoria. Despite potential volatility ahead, we still likely have a few months of opportunity in the market. I believe so. If you have not checked out my video from, I believe it was 2 days ago, I share one chart, might have been 3 days ago, one chart, again from Zhao Wetson, talking about his estimate according to this model that has not missed to the day. It has not missed. You got to check that out, not miss the day of the peak. And so check that out also from Zhao Wetson. He is a must follow on X. Another must follow, Axel Adler. He just posts so much awesome information. So he says the market remains in a long-term bullish trend, but to resume the short-term bullish momentum, the price needs to close above 104.8K. So you can see the purple section here. That's when we see short-term bullish momentum above 104.8K brings us back to that. And of course, we are now at, he posted this on June 7th. Okay, that was a few days ago, but we are now at 108 and hopefully going to continue to climb. We'll see. I do wonder about an ABC correction, which means we're in the B wave and then the C is going to take us lower with Bitcoin, but we'll see. You know what? I'm not selling anything right now. Nothing. I'm not selling my Bitcoin. I'm not selling my altcoins. The meme coins that I have left, absolutely not. No, even if we do have an ABC correction. Glassnode, Bitcoin jumped from 105 to 107K today, likely fueled by a wave of short liquidations. We talked about that. Over just 4 hours, total short liquidations spiked from 105K. No, that's not even all that much, to 395K. Last week's negative funding rates had pointed to rising short appetite, and today those bets got squeezed. Sounds good to me. Let's keep it up. Now, Ethereum. What about Ethereum? We need Ethereum, guys. We've tried to have major altcoin movements without Ethereum, and Ethereum is like, nope, you need me. And so we see from Crypto Goose here, breaking institutions have accumulated more than 400 million of ETH. They know something. All right, let's chill out a little bit on the they know something, on the breaking nonsense. It's like, is it breaking news that they've been accumulating ETH? No, we've known that they've been accumulating ETH for quite a while. Here's the spot Ethereum ETF flows, and it's just been nonstop positive flows every day for the last like 3 or 4 weeks. I think it's actually 4 weeks, just positive flows. And I just want to remind you guys, okay, 57 million from June 4th. That was 13 times the amount of ETH that was minted on that day. So 25 million on June 6th. That was like 6 or 7 times the amount of ETH minted on that day. That is a good sign. We don't need to see this be in the hundreds of millions like we see with Bitcoin, because Ethereum has a smaller market cap. So to see that level of accumulation, the slow and steady wins the race. You can see this lime green line here. As long as it's trending upward, I'm a bull on Ethereum. It doesn't make sense to expect Ethereum to dump from here when we're seeing this level of accumulation. That's a good sign. That's a good sign for the time, when the time comes for our altcoins to just absolutely explode. There's a lot of potential that that's what's going to happen. Even though Bitcoin has been dominating it literally for so long, there will be a day when we will have our moment with altcoins. Something that has me interested in Avalanche. Okay, Avalanche. I haven't really talked much about Avalanche lately, but this stuck out to me. So what am I looking at? What are we looking at here? Avalanche aggregate market cap of tokens from Launchpad. So the Arena, I downloaded this. It's kind of like I think it's, I mean, it is, yes. It's kind of like a social media platform utilizing Avalanche on the Avalanche blockchain. It never really hung on for me, but I still have it on my phone. But okay, they have, SocialFi app. That's what I meant to say. There are tokens, I didn't know this, that launch from the Arena, $100 million in market cap from this one SocialFi app. That's a good sign that, you know, there could be some. What do we need? What do you need to see for a lot of these altcoins that are layer ones for them to start seeing some explosive growth? You need to see people actually using the platform. That's why Solana has done so much better than a lot of other altcoins. That's why Sui's done very well in comparison to a lot of other altcoins, because people actually use Sui. If we're going to see this with Avalanche, this gives me some level of hope that we're going to see something similar with Avalanche at some point. I mean, look at the growth. That's some really good growth over a very short period of time. And we're talking about from May to June. This is 1 month. In 1 month. I didn't even notice that until now. In 1 month, Avalanche coins launched on the Arena have reached a market cap of $100 million. There's an opportunity there. Guys, don't sleep on that. And there's nothing special about the Avalanche chart now, but this could be something serious in terms of accumulation for the AVAX token. Let's keep it up. Now, in moving on from crypto, guys, I cannot emphasize this enough. Please don't sleep on this. Please, pretty please, I'm begging you, do not sleep on silver right now, or on silver miners. I'm looking at my Robinhood account. You know, I have the SLV ETF. I have silver miners. I have gold miners. My Robinhood account is going up, and I am continuing to accumulate those, because the opportunity for silver to go much higher than where it is right now, and the opportunity for silver miners to kind of be like the altcoins for silver, it is off the charts insane. I am expecting over the next few years 10x's, 20x's, maybe even 50 or even 100x's in some of these holdings, and I'm going to diamond hand them. I'm not really planning on taking profit anytime in the next 3 to 5 years, potentially, maybe even longer than that. This is the opportunity that is in front of us. But I know, you know, some of you don't want to hear that from me because this is a crypto channel. But like, guys, I want to make money. You know, I get into crypto because I want to make money. I don't like crypto. I like Bitcoin. I don't like crypto though. But I like silver. I like gold, and silver is playing catch up to gold. So pay attention to this. Do you notice this is a 45-year cup and handle pattern that's playing itself out. Do you know how explosive a 45-year cup and handle can be once it breaks to the upside? Silver has had closes above $36 3 times ever, in terms of like weekly closes and then leading to higher prices. Both times, silver went up to $50 very quickly. But what I'm saying here is, with this cup and handle pattern, it is very likely that silver is going to finally break through that 45-year resistance of $50. Where do we go from there? I mean, this person's asking $300, $100, $1,000. Let's chill out for a second. This is not a 7-week alt season thing. This is, a multi-year thing. But very bullish on silver. And then you look at the gold to silver ratio. Let's see, from Octavio Tabi Costa, great last name. The gold to silver ratio is now breaking down as silver accelerates and begins to catch up with gold. Just a month ago, investors were telling me this time was different, that the ratio wouldn't revert and we were witnessing a structural shift. But notice the trend. Interestingly, many of the same voices are now claiming that early stage mining companies will never attract capital again. In the investment business, whenever I hear the word never, it gets my attention. Amen to that. Capital is clearly flowing down the chain. It started with gold. My wife, I had a wife indicator. I sold a lot of my gold, not all of it, absolutely not. But I sold a lot of it. It started with gold and moved to royalty companies. From there, senior producers began to rally. Now, copper and silver are clearly gaining momentum, and in my view, the next stage is likely to be early stage mining companies. I need to stop hiccuping. I'm sorry, but I'm going to keep going. Charlie Biello, excuse me. The 63% decline in the VIX over the last 9 weeks is the biggest volatility crash in history. Inject that into my veins. Yes, please. Yes, please. This is good. This is good. This means that we are likely, we're already there, V-shaped recovery in the stock market. My goodness. So what comes next is, a 2018 or a 1998 scenario where it looked like we were going into the bear market and then we had a V-shaped recovery. I've talked about that a ton on this channel. Something that might interest only me, and then we're going to look at the stock market in a second here too. But 500 years of interest rates visualized. I could get really dark with this. I could get really, really dark with this. I'm not going to. But you can see, this is more than 500 years. This is 700 years. You can see this descending trend line dating back 700 years. So what happens when we break a downtrend? Just think about it. When we break a downtrend like this, are we going back up to 20 to 25% rates to 35%? Simon Van Halen to Edward III, 35%. My goodness, what would happen if something like that would happen? But one thing I will tell you guys, we're going higher with rates, and that's going to be really ugly. It's going to, so even if the United States is able to short term bring those rates down, what are they going to do? They're going to print a lot of money, and then that's going to be like putting a finger in a flood wall or something. You know what I'm talking about? That story, right? This could happen. We're probably going much higher with rates. Now, what's the timeline for that? It's a matter of years, even decades or so, but very much something to keep your eye on. So, at this moment, Bitcoin is hanging around 108.5. That's great news. I'm excited to see that. Now, here's the bad news. Bitcoin dominance does seem to be breaking the 786 retrace, which means just like the stock market, it's probably on its way to a V-shaped recovery. And I know that that's heartbreaking, but okay, you know what? Bitcoin dominance is going to rally. Maybe it's time on pumps to de-risk out of different altcoins and just enjoy your gains if you have any that you've bought over the last few weeks, and just put it in Bitcoin for the time being. Honestly, that might be the play. And then at some point, Bitcoin's going to do much better. Or sorry, altcoins will have their moment. But this is looking like a V-shaped recovery. That's not so great news for your altcoin holdings. But good news for your for everything else is looking at the stock market. Let me pull up the Dow Jones real quick. Looking good. Looking good. Dow Jones broken above the 200-day moving average. Now the NASDAQ and the S&P also they look even better. I mean, NASDAQ looks like it's on its way to putting in a new all-time high. And oh my goodness, all right, I'm just going to end this really soon here. Sorry for all the hiccuping, but that is not the S&P 500. Whew. All right, S&P 500 also looks like it's on its way to a new all-time high. Good sign, V-shaped recovery, much higher than where I thought it was going to go. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Do me a favor again, if you haven't already, click the follow on all those accounts, but I will see you most certainly in another video. Peace.